We've now had that at Manchester United probably the last 12 months, and it's actually gone worse. I mean, how do you explain that?
Yeah, I don't think it's been for 12 months. I mean, there's no doubt the Dan Ashworth situation has gone badly wrong. I mean, I like Dan a lot. He's brought in, he's someone who's very stable, very calm, has actually, to be fair, helped mould this current sort of Newcastle project that we're seeing before our eyes. Obviously, Eddie Howe was there before, but the type of signings that they made when the Saudi Arabian owners came in, we all expected it to be a bit of an extravaganza and sort of splashing the cash, but they signed some very solid characters. So I was quite enthused when Dan Ashworth came into the club that there would be someone there to say no, that would know not to waste money. Obviously, then you have Jason Wilcox, who's highly thought of, Omar Barada, who's well thought of at Manchester City. You know, they've only been in, to be fair to them, 5 or 6 months. Obviously, Dan Ashworth's now gone, which is, like I say, that's gone badly wrong. But it's only been 5 or 6 months, and it's obviously, I mean, they'll be thinking it's going backwards to go forwards. They're obviously making huge changes on the pitch. They're making huge changes in the football department. They're making huge changes off the pitch as well. And there is some real pain, and there are some real unpopular decisions that are being made, some of which I don't agree with myself at all. But the reality of it is decisions are being made. I mean, for about 8 years, there was nothing happening. There was one guy there at the top that was, to be fair, being sort of supported by the Glazer family, and he just continued to make the same mistake after mistake. At least there are things happening, whether you agree with them or not. There are, I mean, it's concerning. It can be nothing other than concerning of what's happening at this moment in time, because what's happening on the pitch is really desperate. I mean, that first half an hour tonight, I mean, I know there's been some bad moments in the last 10 years, but that was pretty low.
But Gary, given what happened to Dan Ashworth, who you just referenced, who we thought was going to be there for a long time, and then this sort of snap decision seemed to come out of nowhere, and suddenly he was gone. Is there any doubt in your mind that if it did get worse here for Ruben Amorim, and, you know, he's talking about it himself, they're in a relegation battle, you know, in his words, if it did get worse, do you think they would stick with him whatever happened this season?
I mean, whatever happened, I mean, probably not. But I mean, I can't. They're going to support him, aren't they? I mean, their mindset is such now that they're going to dig in, support the manager, get him through maybe a transfer window in January. I'm not sure there's that much money to spend in January because they're on the edge of FFP. But they'd obviously get to the summer, and there's going to have to be a huge overhaul again. And like you say, I mean, look, I'll throw it back to yourselves. I mean, Carol, where did you have Manchester United? I had them in the top 4, obviously.
We're going to get to that in about 10 minutes.
Gary, can I just ask you, you know, talk about a January window. If there was a little bit of money they could find, where would you be spending it right now? What is going to help this team in the short term?
Definitely the positions that, I mean, look, you could say centre forward, let's get a world-class centre forward, let's get Isak in, but that's never going to happen. I think if you were starting, you'd have to start with the fundamentals of this system, which is the wing-backs. They hold it together. If you don't have the wing-backs functioning up and down that are able to attack and defend equally as good, and there aren't many of those around, by the way, because there aren't many teams that play wing-back, then you're going to struggle. So you need 2 quite unique players in those wide areas, and I think that will be the starting point. And that's nothing against Mazraoui or Dalot. I think they're very willing and doing the job the very best that they can. But they're, to me, the areas that I would start in this system.
Gary, stay where you are, because we are very excited to see where you've got Manchester United at the end.
Sorry, can I finish, Dave? Dave. Sorry, let me finish. Where did Carragher have Manchester United at the start of the season in his predictions? Was it fit?
I think.
Well, it definitely wasn't above Liverpool.
That's a good gift, but you are teased. I know that.
Tease it, Gary.
You had them fifth.
Keep talking.